bunch of waterheads boarding pity boats, thinking they mavericks. I learned how to swim upstream way before the flow was ever current. This a different palette. Groom de neer, gekke hoes, ik die said booty. Still heard an awful lot in human form. Said nothing at all when they try to play me. Pray on me like compliments are supposed to pay me for a feature. I need at least a house worth full of cavities to sleep sweet and sound in. How many pieces of myself are left in the hands of strangers?
Molweni kuni nonke, gama lami uthando lwethu, abanye beni bandazi ngo Coffee Mac, utata wesizwe, and welcome to yet another exciting installment of the Lyric Breakdown.
The lion is back. This is the return of the tiger. I am back in Kawempe. I'm back. Yes. Thank you.
Guess who's back, baby? Guess who's back, baby? Yeah, guess who's back, baby? But yeah, anyways, welcome to yet another episode of the Lyric Breakdown. And today I have an exciting, because I'm excited for it, so I also think you're gonna be excited for it, right? So today, on today's episode, we will be breaking down Stogie T's Sway in the Morning Freestyle. And it's gonna be a two-part series. Well, a two-part episode, it's gonna be a two-part episode. Can't make it 3 parts. It's just gonna be a 2-part episode. And I do hope that you enjoy this one. And I tried. If I missed some of the things, you guys will be there to correct me. But I definitely tried my utter best to suck out as much juice as I can from this freestyle. And yeah, so let us get into it. And also, I watched his most recent Rap Raider freestyle, and I have to say that one is also amazing. I think there are definitely a lot of bars to decipher on that. It's not just that one listen or one watch type video, but you definitely have to listen to it for a few times, and then you start so that you can be able to decipher the bars and the lyrics. But without further ado, let us get into the first. I wouldn't say it's a verse. I mean, this freestyle is so dope, it even got written down. People even wrote lyrics down on Genius. But let's just get into it. So, Stogie T starts off by saying,
Stogie T, South Africa's finest. Sway in the morning, honey and pain.
There ain't a French bottle, we ain't pop. A fresh article, we ain't cop. Benz top that we ain't dropped. And dress model, we ain't knocked. Festival, we ain't rock. Destined to beat us hot to the best of my knowledge. Rest of the marriage, that's saying a lot. But if you taking stock and you don't save a spot for the forsaken lot, from the bacon heart, land of the slavers dark, that's your prerogative. We polar opposites.
There ain't a French bottle, we ain't pop. Or fresh article, we ain't cop. Benz top that we ain't drop. Dressed model, we ain't knock. Festival, we ain't rocked. Destined to be this hard, to the best of my knowledge. The rest of them average, that's saying a lot. Okay. Now let's go into it, right? So obviously, this is a freestyle. So in poetry, you cannot put in rhyme schemes and rhyme patterns in something that is free verse, because what Stogie did here is equivalent to what is called a free verse. A poem or a poem normally that is written that doesn't necessarily fit the constrictions of maybe what a sonnet would be like, maybe the 14 lines. Every rhyme scheme has to have maybe couplets or all of those things, and then maybe a lyric poem, we understand, things like that. But for the purpose of this, I then applied rhyme schemes to some of the lines, to the first 5 lines, just so that we can maybe get a picture of why this freestyle evokes a certain feeling within us, right? So Stogie T here from line, I would say line 1, according to the genius annotation of the lyrics, right? Maybe I'd say from line 1 to line 5, he is rhyming in couplets. Yeah, maybe I'd say couplets. I'd say couplets A, B, B, right? There ain't a French bottle, we ain't pop, right? Or fresh article, we ain't cop, right? Or Ben's top that we ain't drop. So P, right? And then and dress model we ain't knock, right? Festival we ain't rocked. But the rocked is I'd say is an imperfect rhyme, right? Rocked, because now there's the addition of that suffix ed. Yeah, but then I then went on to check, what do couplets do? Like when someone is rhyming or when someone is rapping, right? What effects do couplets normally have, right? So they did say that couplets tend to evoke a simple or direct message and offer immediate resolution, making the poem more engaging and memorable, right? AABB can also enhance the flow of a poem, build momentum, and emphasize certain themes. Helps the poet emphasize their feelings and thoughts. Light-hearted, playful tone, normally used in nursery rhymes, right? And it is also said that if it is not used properly, it can seem a bit amateurish, right? My friend and I were actually talking about this, that I think, if I'm not mistaken, like most of the time when I listen to Malice, this is how Malice rhymes, right? Either he rhymes in an A-A-B-B scheme or A-B-A-B type scheme. Because even on, if there's any example I can think of now, is that song where he says, Penny a la vaca, kasha, right? Like, we call expensive bread for kasha, right? Things like that, like, you know, so yeah, so that's what, so now, with this explanation that they evoke a simple or direct message and offer immediate resolution, we then listen to how Stogie actually opened this rhyme. He said, there ain't a French bottle we ain't pop, or fresh article we ain't cop, right? Or Ben's top that we ain't drop, dress model that we ain't knock, right? Festival we ain't rocked, destined to be this hot, to the best of my knowledge, the rest of them average. That is saying a lot. Like here, he's straightforward, right? And also, like, you're just going with the beat. Oh, and how he slid on that beat is just crazy. Like, you're just going with what he's saying. He's telling you straight up, this is how I feel, these are my thoughts, this is what I've done, right? He doesn't have to go there and then come back here, right? Also, it offers quick resolution. Like, the inner French bottle we ain't pop, fresh article we ain't cop. Yeah, but then you know maybe the third line is also gonna rhyme with pop, cop, maybe drop or slop or top, right? Ben's top that we ain't drop. You understand? So we also have an internal rhyme here. We also have an internal rhyme, or Ben's top that we ain't drop, right? Dress model we ain't knock. Bruh. Festival we ain't rocked, destined to be this hot, to the best of my knowledge, the rest of them average. That's saying a lot. Now let's break down what Stogie is actually saying. So Stogie here, I feel like in the opening line with telling us that there isn't anything he hasn't done before. He has driven the best cars, Mercedes-Benz. He has knocked, I assume he has been with some of the best women. A dress model is someone who's a model, right? On runways and all of those things. So he's been with some of the best women, right, that the world has to offer. There ain't a French bottle we ain't pop. So it is said that champagne originated from France, or Italy. Is it France? Yes, France. And the most expensive champagne bottle is it Dom Perignon? Yes, I think it's Dom Perignon. Yes, Don Perignon. No, it's Dom Perignon. I think so. But Stogie is actually showing us here that he is well traveled, he has a globalistic mindset, and he knows most things about the world, right? And one of my favorite parts about this thing was when he said that there ain't a French bottle we ain't pop, right? Fresh article we ain't cop, right? Also, I just feel like the pop, right? French bottle we ain't pop, so champagne pop, but also fresh article we ain't cop. That could refer to magazines, media, that there isn't anything he doesn't know about the media, right? Pop. And when something is popular, they call it pop. Pop, like when something is popping, right? Pop culture, yes, pop culture. So there ain't a French bottle, we ain't pop. A fresh article, we ain't cop. Yeah, but so when something's fresh and it's popping at the time. It's popping at the time. So he has popped the bottles, but he's also aware of what's going on in pop culture, right? He's copped all the freshest articles. Yeah, but I also tried to check if maybe there are different meanings to the word pop or anything like that, but he kept referring to magazines and all of those things. Yeah, but Ben's top that we ain't drop, dress model we ain't knocked. So obviously Ben's top that we ain't drop, Slatamatende, like Mercedes Benz. So we've driven even the convertibles, all of the Mercedes Benz. But what I also like is the fact that he says dress model we ain't knocked. Most of the time, if not all of the time, cars are compared to females. Like when males, I don't know about women, but I do think also that women do this, right? But most of the time cars are compared to females, even on songs like I think it's by R. Kelly, you remind me of my G, I wanna ride, right? Even AKA she remind me of my G, I wanna ride. Yeah, but so most of the time cars have been compared to females, right? So him saying that Ben's top that we ain't drop, dress model we ain't knock. So he's also showing that I've been in the finest cars, but I've also been with the finest women, dress model. And I also like the fact that he used that model for model as in models, but also a car model can be correlated to that. Yeah, well,
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
yeah, and there are going to be a few riches here. So it might seem like a reach, but the way it is written could also give out that message. So I like how it's linked to one another. The diction and the use of words, right? The diction and the use of words is what I really like here. Is that okay? So you can interpret it in this way, because now he said dress model. We know he's just talking about models who are on the runway, but also you can think that cars, models, right? The model of a car. And he did say that the inner Benz top that we ain't dropped. And then I went on to check what the slogan of Mercedes-Benz is. The slogan of Mercedes-Benz is the best or nothing. So Stogie is showing us that he's well-traveled, he has knowledge, he's seen most parts of the world, if not everything. So he knows how to differentiate the best from the not so great, right? Like from the best from the West, basically, right?
Sensational.
He's well studied, he's a student of the game. You understand? Festival we ain't rocked, right? He's been in almost all, if not all, of the entertainment spaces to know what a good festival is and what a good festival isn't, right? Destined to be this hot because I did the work. I did the work to study all of these things, to travel to these places, to do the necessary diligence, to, you understand, like I learned and I learned and I learned and I learned. So with all of the information that I have collected, I am destined to be what you are seeing right now, which is one of the hottest MC, if not one of the hottest MCs. You understand? So that's what Stogie is saying here. Destined to be this hot because I did my work. I did the work. So now I'm proving it that I am the best. Either the best or nothing. To the best of my knowledge, the rest of them average. That is saying a lot, right? The rest of them average. So because he knows that he is this hot, the rest of them are average because of the fresh articles he has read, the Benz tops, the dress models, the festivals he has rocked. So maybe say they don't compare to me in any of those fields, even when it comes to rapping. I'm destined to be this hot because I have content, I have writing skills, rapping skills, flow. They can't touch me there. You understand? So yeah. Oh, and then I also noted down Just a second. Oh yeah. Right. We also do have an imperfect rhyme where he says, to the best of my knowledge, the rest of them average. Right? Knowledge average. That's saying a lot. And then now we go. This is one of my favorite parts about this freestyle. When he says, but if you're taking stock and you don't save a spot for the forsaken lot. Okay, wait, let me catch my breath.
Take it easy, dog.
Let me catch my breath. And then now we move on to the next part where he says, but if you're taking stock and you don't save a spot for the forsaken lot from the baking hot land of the slaver's dog, that's your prerogative. We polar opposites. Wait, let me tell you why this is. Let me tell you, right? But if you're taking stock, he like, I like how he ended that. I don't know if I should say stanza, but I would say a stanza where he was like saying a lot. Ne? Then he says, but if you're taking stock and you don't save a spot for the forsaken lot from the baking hot land of the slaver's dog, that's your prerogative. We polar opposites. For the mere fact that he's using the word stock, right? So stock could refer to stocks is in stock exchange. Yeah, so but if you're taking stock, so stock, you attach stock exchange, foreign exchange, like shares and all of those things. Stogie is very patriotic, right? He's all about South Africa. Even his music speaks on our history, the things we've been through, our struggles, stalwarts, and all of those things, right? Some of our greatest musicians that we have, even on the Rap Radar freestyle, he did say rest in peace to Pro Kid, rest in peace to Zola, no, not Zola 7, I don't remember quite well, but always on most, well, from the two freestyles that I've seen on Sway as well as the Rap Radar one, he did shout out a few people that have passed away, a few rappers that have passed away, right? And then, so now, why this drives me crazy is stock could refer to stocks, like stocks, foreign exchange stocks, understand? But it could also refer to livestock. And as someone who is very patriotic, Stogie even sampled Mamele Tambuli on his song Zimkile Inkom, where jazz, or rather like old music before pre I don't know, during apartheid, yes, during apartheid, used to speak about how we have lost the land and how we need to get the land back and how we have lost our stock. For example, Mamule Tambuli's song Zimkile speaks on how Zimkile Inkomo kunye nezinja, right? Mama zobuya nini na, right? So she asks uba inkomo zethu zawubuya nini. So Stogie is saying, but if you're taking stock and you don't save a spot for the forsaken lot from the baking hot land of the slaver's dog, that's your prerogative. We polar opposites, right? So if you get up there, you get to a position where you are able to feed yourself, you are able to give yourself wealth, you are able to make yourself rich, and then you don't save a spot. Like that's what Tatu John Gani was saying on Mac G's podcast, I think, where he said that everyone can use the lift. The problem starts when the people who were also given a chance to get into the lift, to get up there, then don't press that button for the lift to go down, and then someone else can climb in to go up. So I think that's what Stogie was actually referring to when he's saying you do not save a spot. So you go up there and then you hog that spot. You don't want anyone else to come up and eat with you. You're not saving, right? And then he says, forsaken from the baking hot land of the slaver's dog. And then I then proceeded to check the slaver's dog. So back then during the slave trade, right? During the slave trade. Oh, I also found a Cape Townian lodge. I don't know if slaves used to be there, but you know that there was a slave trade going on in Africa. So it could be that Stogie was referring to Cape Town, because every time I searched up something referring to slaves being exported or slave exchange, it showed Cape Town in a South African context, but rather in an African context, it showed African countries that went through like slave trades and where there were slavers' docks. Slavers' dock is basically a place where slaves are traded by their masters, to these European countries, right? For the Forsaken Lot from the Baking Hot, right? From the Baking Hot. So baking hot, like baking hot, we know, but in Africa the temperatures are very warm. Africa is a very warm country. It's very hot. Even in South Africa, it's very hot. So that is why they believed Uguti he could be, because it was the transatlantic slave trade. I think it was the transatlantic slave trade, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if there was a slave trade going on in Durban. Alright, I don't know if there was a slave trade going on in Durban, but we'll also check, because Durban is also quite warm. You understand? Live from the land of the slaver's dock. That's your prerogative. We polar opposites. So him even saying that's your prerogative, that is your exclusive right. You can do that, but I am not going to do that, right? I am not going to do that. We are polar opposites. And what also drives me crazy is the fact that he opened this stanza by telling us that he is destined to be this hot.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
Hot. So if we are polar opposites, if Stogie is hot, that means the other people that he's referring to are what? Are cold. They're not as hot as him. Even more morally so, even when it comes to morality, right? So when you get up there, you do these things, you take, but you don't save a spot for the other people that you left at the back, right? You can go forward, but don't forget where you come from, type thing. And it also drives me crazy because he says foreign stock exchange, lot. Like when people trade foreign exchange, they trade in lot sizes, right? For the Forsaken Lot. So those people, that maybe majority of people who do not have the bread, right? Lot sizes, baking hot. And what do you bake? You bake bread. And stocks give you what? Money. And people tend to say what? Let's get this bread, or let's get this money, or let's get the cake. So you are taking a piece of the cake, or you're taking the whole cake, and you don't leave a piece for your people that are back there in the baking hot.
Ow.
Bruh. So here Stogie could possibly be referring to the gatekeepers, right? But also, I think I found alliteration, right? When he says, and you don't save a spot for the Forsaken Lot from the baking hot. Hot. Don't spot lot hot. Is it? Yeah, it could be. I think it is, right? So we polar opposites. So Stogie is a hot MC and you're not as cold as him, right? So he is flipping that narrative. This is the other nice thing about rap, because some guys will say, I'm the coldest, right? You niggas ain't as cold as me. You understand? But now he's flipping it. He's saying he is hot. Like, he is hot. You niggas aren't as hot. You're cold. But cold in a whack way, right? North and south. Stogie is from the south, right? The south is known for what? For warm temperatures. So South Pole, he is hot. And then the North Pole, cold. Europe, all of these countries in the Europe, are known for being cold, right? The South, hot. North, cold. So he's hot because he is from the south. He's from the baking hot land of the slavers, dog. And because he is from here, he has learned valuable lessons like Ubuntu, right? Like whatever you get, I am because we are. You understand? So since we are polar opposites, now when I get to the top, I will share it with those that are in the same community as me, so that we are all up, right? Yeah. So yeah, that is what Stogie is essentially saying. And from the intro, Stogie was basically showing us that he is the best MC. He was cementing his spot. I am the best MC because I have done the knowledge, I have done the training, I know everything that there is to know to make me this hot and to make me this dope. Right? Yeah, and he also then explores South African realities, but not in depth. Right, not in depth, because he speaks about a forsaken lot life from the land of the slavers, dark. Like, he is even exploring themes of slavery that occurred in Africa, going back to what I was saying about patriotism, right? Yeah. So now continuing, and then he says, ooh, bruh, and then he says,
prerogative, we polar opposites. I'm from that continent of poverty and long walk accomplishments, where former heroes give birth to spoiled, rotten kids. The opulent meet the poor, cleaning their offices. We push rocket ships like Elon Musk, charge the whip, but still stuck in shit, cause we don't got a pot to piss in. Say God forgives as you give the church half your shit. I'm bugging still, we can tell a pastor from a pimp. It's Roman Catholic, it's Anglican, it's African tribesmen, migrants, shit, it's masked men kidnapping kids.
I'm from the continent of poverty and long walk accomplishments, where former heroes give birth to spoiled, rotten kids. The opulent need the poor, cleaning their offices. We push rocket ships like Elon Musk, charge the whip.
I'm coming down. Drink my water.
But still stuck in shit, cause we ain't got a pot to piss in. My mom's in the next room, so I can't be yelling out swear words. But yeah, anyways. Right? We push rocket ships like Elon Musk, charge the whip. But still stuck in shit, cause we ain't got a pot to piss in. Bruh! This is rap. This is rap. He is rap. I'm from a continent of long walk. I'm from a continent of poverty and long walk accomplishments. He is showing us that he is from Africa, because Africa is known to be the richest continent in the world with minerals, but we are very poor. We are known for poverty, right? It's filled with poverty, right? And then he says, and long walk accomplishments. That is him showing you where exactly from Africa he is from, right? He is from South Africa. Nelson Mandela, long walk to freedom. He could have simply said, like, I'm from South Africa, or you understand, but long walk accomplishments. Nelson Mandela, long walk to freedom. Bafethu, where former heroes gave birth to spoiled, rotten kids. A sad truth, bruh. Like, dog, people who fought through the struggle, people who are called heroes, give birth to someone who is like a total opposite to what they are. The dualities that I was talking about, polar opposites, that he had opened the freestyle with. Polar opposites. Heroes, spoiled, rotten kids. where the rich, the opulent, like you understand when they say someone's the opulent need the poor cleaning their offices. Dualities, bro. Also here, he is highlighting the wide gap of wealth distribution, right? The opulent, very rich, the very rich, for them to stay rich. I also feel like here he was subtly highlighting how this system works. For this system of capitalism to continue to work, there needs to be people who are at the bottom. For the elite to remain elite, there needs to be people who stay or remain at the bottom, right? The opulent need, he didn't say want, no, because when you need something, it has to happen. Like you need it for you to survive, right? The opulent need the poor cleaning their offices, right? So if we're all equal, if we all have our own money, why am I gonna have to go and work for some men out there and not spend time with my family doing what my family and I can do? Let them clean their own offices. You understand? So for the rich to enjoy the luxuries of being rich and for them to continue being rich, they need the poor cleaning their offices. We push rocket ships like Elon Musk charged the whip, but still stuck in shit because we ain't got a pot to piss in.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bro, the dualities. We have all of the best sports cars. We have the sports cars. We have everything you want. Right? But we also have very poor people in the same country. Yabo. The dualities of Africa, like not even South Africa alone, but Africa as a whole. We have really rich people, but we also have really poor people. And it's something that's also always said on TikTok, that the middle class is like one paycheck away from being part of the poor people, right? That's what people keep on saying. I haven't researched that, but I thought I'd just put that out there, Guti, just to show how wide the gap is between the opulent and the poor. Right? Yeah. Okay, I already mentioned that. And also, we push rocket ships like Elon charged the whip, bruh. We have electronic cars here, dog. We have electronic cars. I also think since he was in the US, he was also speaking to that notion. I don't know if it's notion or thought that people in Africa are roaming around with lions. I don't know if that is still an ongoing topic or still something that is running, but it also reminds me of that song made by that guy who said, "Who's the Africa says, ooh, yeah." And those will be like, oh, these niggas will be like, oh, these niggas will be like, oh. Right? And then people show off how beautiful this country is. Cape Town has been voted, I don't know, the most beautiful city, I don't know how many times now. But just to give you an example of what we have here in South Africa, we have really beautiful places, right? We have amazing cities, wealth gap, and all of those things. But we also have bad townships in the same city that was voted the best city in the world for I don't know how many times, but I think 7 times. Yes, I think 7 times. But also, even in that same city where we have riches, we also have very poor people who are suffering from sewages, the smell, like traveling. People travel hours just to get to work in the city in Cape Town. People staying in. We also have gang violence in the same place. So those are the topics that Stogie was exploring, but not in depth. But he was just pushing people to go and look those things up. You understand? Yeah. So Elon Musk is also from South Africa, but yeah, he doesn't claim that, and yeah, that is what it is, right? I don't know if he claims it, but yeah, whatever. But we still stuck in shit because we ain't got a pot to piss in. So I did explain this pot to piss in thing in one of the episodes that I did for the 12 dogs when I was speaking about change. That people who had pots to piss in back then, when toilets weren't developed yet, when there weren't secret spots for people to take a piss, actually had money or could actually afford. It was a marker that, okay, when you are of a certain class, you can afford to have a pot to piss in, right? And then they would then later on sell those pots to other people, I think for the animals to drink or something like that, right? So yeah. And then Stogie continues to say God forgives as you give the church half your shit. Oof. I'm bugging. Still, we can't tell a pastor from a pimp. It's Roman Catholic, it's Anglican, it's African tribesman, migrant. Shit is masked men kidnapping kids. Bruh. So here now, we are going into religion, right? Now we're going into religion. We have moved away from the system of capitalism, but he is also showing us how now religion plays into this whole thing of the opulent needing the poor, cleaning their offices, right? How this whole system is integrated into one, right? So you have sins. So say God forgives as you give the church half your shit. Right? So the more unikela, they say you have a gracious heart, wenza kahle, you are pleasing uNkulunkulu and all of those things, right? You are pleasing uNkulunkulu, but you are giving away half of your money, and that same church is keeping you poor. Because you give your money to the church, the pastor then becomes opulent. This is something that we've been seeing all around. Pastors are driving Range Rovers, pastors are driving all of these luxury cars, but then they are congregants. Right? And then now you start to... And then now I also like how he used the word shit in two different contexts, saying that give the church half your shit, like your money, your possessions, right? But also we don't have a pot, we still stuck in because we don't have a pot to piss in, right? So he's giving us a reason as to why we might actually be stuck in this ship and why we don't actually have a pot to piss in. It's because we're taking our money and enriching other people with it, right? And then he says, I'm bugging. Still, we can't tell a pastor from a pimp. Him saying like, I'm bugging, it's like, he's like, yeah, I said that, but whatever. You know how when people will say something that makes you think, and then someone's like, ngiyakwazi ke wena so qalile yabo qalile izinto zakhe awume kancane yabo. So it's like he's like, think about it. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, I digress. It's like he's saying that yabo Guti, you sin and then you pay the church, so your sins will then be forgiven. Like, how does this system work? Yabo, it's a scam, somewhat a scam. How does me taking out money from my pocket atone for the sins that I have done? We understand. And this is not to say that this is what all religions do. No. But he is just showing how some of these pastors might move, right? Some of these people, when in actual fact, they're just con artists, right? And then he says, it's Roman, I'm bugging. Still, we can't tell a pastor from a pimp. It's Roman Catholic, it's Anglican, it's African tribesman, migrant, shit. It's masked men kidnapping kids.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
Right? In these African countries, I do believe that they are spiritually gifted people or people who are named seers often wear a mask, right? They wear these masks. So they wear these masks and then they tell you maybe your future or all of those things, and then like there are those masks that I think we're most aware of, but I'll put it up here. You see those things, masked men kidnapping kids. So Stogie is showing that church or these churches are sometimes are used as human trafficking rings, right? Are used as human trafficking rings. There is a deputy principal right now, I think from East London, if I'm not mistaken, who has allegedly been accused of taking small children and then prostituting them in a house, using those young kids, and then sometimes even trafficking some of the kids, right? Allegedly. I don't know how, like, she's still in court. They're still going to court for this. And there has been multiple cases about Omotoso in East London. Same with him. He was also accused of raping children, human trafficking, Bushiri, all of those people, right? All of those people. So Stogie is showing us that more than anything, there's also sodomization, because there's a lot of things going on in these churches where people believe that that's a place of solace, a place for peace, a place for finding myself. Kanti, that's where you find most of these predators. And apparently that lady was also a deputy principal at the school. She was also a deputy principal at the school. So obviously she has those kids in abundance. And no one's gonna be suspecting because she works at the church. Mom fundisi, then she's a deputy principal. Oh, she must love kids, right? And of course, if nishiya abantwana bam naye, abantwana bam bazoba safe. Because mama wenkonzo. And she is doing all of these things. She's trafficking kids. So Stogie is also showing how these places for religion and are also used for these human trafficking rings. And how bad now this system is. How people then fight to become rich, right? People fight to become rich, so they will do anything to get the money. Yeah. And we ain't got pots to piss in because we keep giving the churches our money, right? And then he continues to say,
I say South Africa, you think Trevor. I think Nelson, it's half apparent you getting mixed messages. Hey, I say Nigeria, you think fella. I think Delta, it's past and present, blurry as an impressionist way. I put your certified hyenas in elephant graves. I'm punching way above the ceiling you said is the grade. This is the red letter day. Show them how a vet is made. Last time somebody skipped this file, David Blaine. These ready-made superstars with tattoos and scars. And you think they can save face with a few bars? They lukewarm, I'm in true form. 38 like Jordan in Utah, killing them with the flu shot.
I say South Africa, you think Trevor, I think Nelson. As half a parent, you getting mixed messages. I say Nigeria, you think fella, I think Delta. It's past, present, blurry as an impressionist.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Yo! Bro, when I kept writing this, I was like, the stink faces I was making. So here, Stogie is giving us two contexts, right? Stogie did tell us that there isn't a fresh bottle here, a French bottle. He hasn't popped a fresh article, right? And we also know Stogie is like very matured, right? He's like an old rapper. Yeah, but I didn't say he's an old rapper. Like he's unk. Yeah, he's unk. Yeah, if I can put it like that, right? And then when he says, I say South Africa, you think Trevor, I think Nelson, it's half apparent you're getting mixed messages. Ish. That's a double entendre, by the way. That is a double entendre. Also, there are a lot of double entendres that I didn't mention were double entendres. But in me explaining Guti, you can interpret it like this and you can interpret it like this. I believe that you can deduce that, okay, this is a double entendre, this is a triple entendre, or this is a quadruple entendre, right? So, I say South Africa, you think Trevor, I think Nelson, right? So, now he is speaking on Trevor Noah, the comedian, former Daily Show host in America, who is an export of ours, right? An export of ours that went on to stay that side. And since Vele Stogie was in the US, right? Since Vele Stogie was in the US, so when he says, I see South Africa, you think Trevor, I think Nelson, it's half apparent you're getting mixed messages. Stogie is then talking about his mindset, because he also says, I say Nigeria, you think fella, I think Delta. It's past, present, blurry as an impressionist, right? So as someone who lives in South Africa and has witnessed a lot of the struggles, because I think on that song with Zakwe, about that time I'ma get that money, I made mistakes but I'ma make my own warning. Yeah. Oh, the roots. Yeah, because now I got the roots, so my sanity shakes. Stogie does also mention how, like, the skeletons in the closet, his dad was a freedom fighter and all of those things. Also on his other project where he's like, there's like a burning bush behind him and he's a sheep. Yeah, I think so. Stogie has witnessed a lot of those things, like the fight against apartheid and all of those things. So he's showing us that he is conscious and aware of what's going on in his country. So he thinks of the people who fought against the struggle, the heroes, right? Right? Because he did mention that I'm from a country where struggle heroes gave birth to spoiled, rotten kids. You understand? So he thinks about the struggle heroes who emancipated him and gave him the freedom that he has today, right? Although people don't have financial freedom, but at least those people did something to get us where we are, right? But in an American context, all they think about, or all they see, or all they're exposed to is who? Trevor Noah, right? Trevor Noah, who is, I would say, a polished version of South African. He has made it, he's opulent, he's good, right? And he is an entertainer. Most people won't see him for anything more than just being an entertainer. Yes, we can say he's smart, but I believe how most people will view him before anything is, oh yeah, that's Trevor Noah, he's a comedian, right? He hosts the Daily Show, right? Same with Fela Kuti. Although Fela Kuti fought against the struggle, was also a political activist. Yes, that is the correct word. Although he was also a political activist, when he would go to these countries, most people saw him as an entertainer first, before seeing him fighting for the struggles and all of those things. Yes, he garnered support. People supported all of those initiatives, but all they saw was, okay, he's from Nigeria. Yeah, he's one of the best. He's the forefathers of Afrobeats, right? That's what most people saw. So, and then when Stogie says, I think Delta, he is then highlighting what is going on. I don't know, I believe it's currently going on. Yeah, I believe it's currently going on in Nigeria, the war that is being had. Well, it's not a war, but the crude oil thing that is going on, where crude oil is being used by these big corporations, allegedly, like Shell, one of the biggest fuel thingies, right? And they keep, what is the right word? Polluting, right? They keep taking this oil, and apparently, I'll also put in links to videos that explain this in depth, right? They keep taking oil, and apparently there are barrels of oil that just keep disappearing out of nowhere, right? And there's fuel consumption apparently in Nigeria is high. I don't know if it still is now, but from the videos that I saw back then, it was high. And then I think there was a lack of fuel. People are dying because they need fuel, but then they are the same people who have the largest deposit or the largest supply for crude oil and fuel, yet they are the ones suffering with this, right? So as Stogie, I think, as someone who lives in Africa, he is aware of the struggles that we face as everyday South Africans. And then when these African countries are published or shown to Americans. Well, now we're starting to find out that even to them, they were given this image that there are children in Africa who are starving when people were just like taking money from them. Yes, there are people, there are children who are starving, but some people use that to get to them and then steal money from them, steal money from the people who felt like, oh, I am donating to a cause and I'm donating to something. You understand? So Stogie is on there showing him that it goes way beyond that. Yes, Trevor might speak on that. Fela Kuti might also speak on the issues that we are facing back here. But more than anything, they'll be seen as entertainers, right? So he then says, I might be misinterpreting this, right? Then he says, it's past, present, blurry as an impressionist. So impressionism, this is according to a Wikipedia find. Impressionism is a style of painting that doesn't necessarily give you the thorough details of something, but it gives you a picture. It lets you imagine, oh, okay, this is what this person was doing, right? This is what this person was talking about. Oh, this is what this person had painted. Yeah, but it doesn't go into detail. It doesn't like, like the other art forms. Yeah, but it's not realist, right? It's not realist. It just gives you an impressionism, hence impressionism, right? Impressionism, emphasis on accurate depiction of light. Yeah, but in the 19th century, it's changing qualities, often accentuating the movement, often accentuating the effect of the passage of time, ordinary subject matter, unusual visual angles, and inclusion of movement as a crucial element of human perception and experience. So for Stogie to say that it's blurry as an impressionist, and then impressionism also says that often accentuating the effects of passage of time, right? The passage of time. So now Stogie is also speaking on this to say that the past and the present are blurry because there are some people who bend the story to fit their narrative, right? To fit their narrative, to fit their mode, to say, okay, no, we didn't do this. This is how this went, right? Even simple things like Google searches, even especially these days, like when you search something, AI is instantly gonna show you something that maybe is, which is why you then have to try and scroll as far as you can to then find something that maybe would give you a bit of truth on a certain topic. Same with TikTok. It's very easy to find misinformation or information that is misguiding on something, which is why you then have to try and go through a couple of videos to then see if maybe a couple of people are speaking the same thing or certain people are saying different things, right? Try read as much as you can on topics. See if that article is published by, like, the sources are valid, right? Which is why even in varsity they used to say that we shouldn't cite Wikipedia as a source, because a lot of people go on to Wikipedia and share their thoughts there. They just type, although it does offer accurate information, but then it's up to you to do your due diligence and check where this thing was cited from and if it is correct, right? And if it is accurate. And if it is dated as well, you understand? So that you do not get misled. So and then I say Nigeria, you think Fela, I think Delta. It's past, present, blurry as an impressionist, right? Say that I just said that the truth is bent. The truth is bent according to the area. So same with Nigeria. When there were elections, if I'm not mistaken, when there were elections going on, I think people were protesting for something, the ASR or the SAR, right? SARS, something along those lines. Apparently network was cut so that people cannot share videos on social media, speak on this issue. And then, news, obviously news, propaganda, pushing propaganda. So obviously they use that to bend the truth. So this is also to say that most of the time, entertainers are used as pacifiers. Yes, we need art. Even what I'm doing now is entertainment. right? Yes, we need art, we need all of those things, but most of the time what then happens is that important topics don't always reach mass consumption as they are supposed to. Like this is the same thing that always happens on TikTok. For example, now Bruce and Naquita are trending, right? When there's another thing that is probably going on where there was the rand manipulation, but yeah, that is also trending, but I don't think it's receiving as much traction as it is supposed to. Yeah, I understand. But Bruce is there killing the charts, is killing the charts. You understand? Which is also a form of pacifying people. It's like that thing that happened with that 20 man versus one gorilla, or one gorilla versus 20 man, right? Same thing. That chat were also things that were made to distract people from maybe what's actually going on out there. Even I think Deontay Kyle also mentioned this on the Greater than X podcast, that statue of the woman, how most people were complaining about that in the US, and then it was like, you guys are arguing about baseless things when there are more serious things going on out there, right? Environmental racism and all of those things. Excuse me. So this is what I think Stogie was then emphasizing, that you guys, like, we usually, our exports are entertainers. Yes, our entertainers will get there and speak on, yeah, like, it's like this, but they'll never go into like serious depth about whatever it is that is happening. And that is not, I'm not saying that is their responsibility. No, that is not their responsibility, right? But what I'm saying is, when you are there to be a comedian, the one thing you will do is you will be a comedian, which is what comedians tend to do. They tend to hide their messages behind humor, right? Because Trevor will say something funny, and then some people will be like, oh yeah, that's actually funny. But some people will also be like, actually, if you think about it, Dave Chappelle also tends to do that, right? So it's things like that. Yeah. Also, it's a double entendre because it's half apparent you're getting mixed messages. Trevor Noah is a colored, right? He is mixed. His dad is Swiss, his mom is Xhosa, right? Half apparent. And now it could, like, wordplay. Also, the half apparent could also slant into half a parent.
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
Mixed messages have a parent. And also, when your parents, for example, if your parents are separated, and then when you go to the one parent, you'll hear stories like this maybe about your father, and then when you go to the other parent, you'll hear stories like this about your mother. Half a parent, so then you don't know what to necessarily make. You're caught in between. You see, it's blurry because now you live with your mom, you experience your mom for a certain time, and you're like, okay, you build an idea or a picture of what your mom is actually like. And then when you go to your father tells you things about your mom. Now you're not sure, okay, now this experience that I just had, and this man has known my mom not longer than I. So, you understand? Same thing with your mom. Same thing with your mom. With your dad. You understand? So it's past present, blurry as an impressionist. Also, I think maybe since we are the youth, right? I say South Africa, you think Trevor, I think Nelson, right? And in most cases, maybe if he said South Africa, I'd say Black Coffee. You understand? You understand? Because he's one of the most well-known figures in the world. Yeah, so I think that's what he was speaking on, that we are more inclined to focus on entertainment and that world, right? Rather than maybe the struggles that people face. You understand? And then also a little bit of history on Fela Kuti. Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Nigerian musician and political activist, principal innovator of Afrobeat. He is known as the father of Afrobeats. Combines West African music with American jazz and funk. used music as a way to revolt against the military system.
Music is a spiritual thing. You don't play with music. If you play with music, you will die young. You see, because when the higher forces give you the gift of music, musicianship, it must be well used for the good of humanity. If you use it for your own self by deceiving people or doing this, you will die young. You see, and I've told people this many times.
And apparently, according to the Wikipedia thing, him and his band, well, his home was raided and the military beat him up for not wanting to follow the rules that they had put up, right? Which is something that also Bassi had covered on Spotify, that was going on in, what's that country? I forgot. But there was also a musician who was using music to revolt against the system, but now he is running for Congress, right? And people were against that. Apparently, I don't know if he's had many hits on him, but I don't know how he's going through that, right? And he also wants to change the system. Yeah. Oh yeah, Delta Oil wars going on, right? And he was also highlighting how these European countries will milk African countries just for them to remain wealthy. You understand? Same thing that is going on in Congo with the uranium. Is it uranium? No, it's not uranium. Yeah, I think it's uranium. Same thing that is going on in Congo with this thing for iPhones, smartphones, electronic cars. Charge the whip, right? Glencore and all of these companies that are currently fighting for this thing, right? And then and then he says, Sway, I put your hyenas in elephant graves. I'm punching way above the ceiling you said is the grade. This the red letter day. Show them how a vet is made. Last time somebody spit this fire, David Blaine. Bro, I put your certified hyenas in elephant graves. That's a Lion King reference. That is a Lion King reference. When Sway, after a freestyle, says, "Oh, we got a hyena. Oh, we got a hyena up in here," right? So now he says, "I put your certified hyenas in elephant graves." Elephant graves. Simba and who's the lioness went to elephant graves, and then the bird told them, "Do not go beyond this point. It is not safe for you." Then Simba then made a joke saying that I am not scared of danger. Ha 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 ha. Then he laughed. Then the hyenas came out, right? The hyenas came out from the elephant graves. And also elephant graves, there's this one guy who made a video on Mythbusters, right? And then he spoke, because people kept asking, are elephant graves real? So he made a video speaking about how elephant graves are not entirely a real thing, because when elephants get older and their teeth struggle to handle the hard plants, or right, because even as we get older, our teeth cannot chew some things, right? So those elephants will then move to places that have more mushy plants or things that are more edible to them that they can eat. And then after living there for a while, they will then end up dying, which is why then maybe they all go to the same place, right? Some people have come with theories that because they do not want to burden their families, they will then move to that place and where they've seen their predecessors pass away, right? So yeah, but that is what Stogie was referring to when he said, "Swear, I put your certified hyenas in elephant graves. I'm punching way above the ceiling you said is the grade." Like punching, but punching, because it's got punchlines.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that. You know why? Cause you a mumble rapper.
You heard those punchlines, you heard those bars. So he's punching way above the ceiling that Sway said is the grade, right? And I do believe that Stogie went after Questa. Yeah, I think Stogie went after Questa, right? And then him saying that Sway Apucho certified hyenas in elephant graves, and Simba was the one, and Simba was the one who was by the elephant graves, and. Oh yeah, no, Kes refers to himself as Mufasa. Yeah, he refers to himself as Mufasa. So yeah, I'm punching way above the ceiling. You said is the grade, like punching, writing, but I'm also punching way above the ceiling. You said is the grade. This the red letter day. Show them how a vet is made. So a red letter day, right? A red letter day. According to a YouTube video I saw, this lady said that it's an important, memorable day, and its origin is from the 15th century. The saints, the mark saints. This was used. Well, there weren't a lot of calendars back in the 15th century, so the mark saints feast was marked with red on each day, right? And then during the 17th century, calendars were made in red. Calendars were marked in red for special days, which has been the case since then. But now colors keep changing. They keep changing, right? So since Stogie is on Sway that day, this the red letter day. Show them how a vet is made. It's a special day because now I'm here to show them how a vet is made. How is a veteran made? A veteran is made through studying, through learning, through all of these things, coming with context, coming with content. They must pop the best or nothing. Mercedes, a vet is made the best or nothing. So for you to name yourself or to see yourself as a vet, you must reach where I'm at. You understand? The last time somebody spit this fire, David Blaine. Who is David Blaine? David Blaine is a magician, an illusionist, and he doesn't rap. So nobody besides Stogie T has gone on the show and spit fire like Stogie, which is also a double entendre. David Blaine does literally spit fire as one of his magic tricks, right? But Stogie is now referring to spitting fire lyrically. This is like what Earl said on Tourmaline when he was like, everybody wanna be Bowser, right? The fire come through me now, right? So Bowser is like a character or a villain, I believe, on Super Mario, right? On Super Mario, and he spits fire, right? So everybody wanna be Bowser. I'm plumbing the deceit out, the fire come through me now, right? So same with Stogie. Last time somebody spit this fire, David Blaine. David Blaine has had interviews on Sway.
Sensational.
Bruh. So no one has ever spit a freestyle like Stogie just did right now. It's a red letter day. It's a special day. How a veteran is made. And then he says, these ready-made superstars with tattoos and scars, and you think they can save face with a few bars? They lukewarm. I'm in true form. 38 like Jordan in Utah, killing them with the flu shot.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
My fair too. These ready-made superstars. Stogie told us what he has done. He has a track record of all the things that he has done that have led him to this point, that have led him to being the veteran that he is today. The veteran, yes, the veteran, not the veteran. Yeah, the veteran that he is today. Right? So these ready-made superstars with tattoos and scars, obviously is referring to this new lineage of rappers, Lil Uzi Verts, Lil Perp, Lil Peep, Lil, all the Lils, man, you know, but except for Lil Wayne, but all of the Lils, like after Lil Wayne, yeah. So all of those guys with these ready-made superstars with tattoos and scars. So he's saying ready-made as if those tattoos were put there to say, okay, this is what a new age rapper looks like, right? Your Blueface babies. This is what a new age rapper looks like. Okay, this is what we're gonna do to you. Then we're gonna give you a few scars so that you have that appeal of a gangster or someone who's been in gangs before, right? So that's what Stogie is then referring to. And it's also dope for him to say, swear, I'll put your certified hyenas in elephant graves, right? The Lion King reference, ready-made superstars with tattoos and scars. Now I'm just, okay, yeah, that was just a reach, but yeah, whatever. And you think they can save face with a few bars. That is because he's saying, and you think they can save face with a few bars. Him saying, and you think they can save face, is because he is basically clowning them that you've already ruined your face by putting tattoos on your face. Now it was a running joke on social media that these new rappers' faces look like school desks, right? Because you know how school desks be having all of these writings, all of these drawings that just don't make sense, but are just there because someone decided to go there, and you understand. So, and you think they can save face with a few bars. That is also a double entendre. Like when you save face, you are uyaqobisa, yeah, ngesixhosa uyaqobisa, wenze ngathi uyayazi lento uyenzayo. You understand? Wenze ngathi uyathusela, basically. Yeah, you saving face. Yabo, uzizela ngobuso. Yeah, uzizela ngobuso wena. Yabo. So that is what Stogie is basically saying, that they think that we can already see past you, dog. We can see with, okay, like you're one of them, right? And then you just think because you can give us a few metaphors, similes, simple lines that are like, oh, okay, maybe he's got something. You think you can save face with a few bars. Just because you have a few clever lines doesn't mean you are like Stogie T, doesn't mean you are like me, right? Save face with a few bars. Also him saying save face with a few bars. Bars, you get locked behind the bars. So save face, save themselves. They are locked up. They are locked up behind this image. So now save face. I don't know if that's making sense, but save face with a few bars, right? Bars locked up, but they think they can save themselves with those few bars. I know it's a oxymoron, but like, yeah, oxymoron or paradox. Like, okay, you understand? You think you can save yourself with these few bars. Yeah, bro. They look warm. I'm in true form. 38, like Jordan in Utah, killing them with the flu shot. I don't know this is how many Nantandra, but they look warm. But he is in true form, meaning he's hot. He's hot, bro. He's hot. He's playing. He's hot. I also saw, I think Zinga said this on one of his songs where he was like, he's got a hot hand, right? So obviously if you got a hot hand in basketball, you're scoring buckets. You don't miss, right? You're not missing. So they look warm. I'm in true form. 38, like Jordan in Utah, killing them with the flu shot. Bro. And when someone has flu, their natural temperature, I'd say the regular or common, yes, the most common temperature is normally 38 degrees Celsius, right?
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that. You know why? Because you a mumble rapper.
8 degrees. So he's hot. He's in true form because he's hot. He did say that I'm hot and you not.
Boom.
Ish, that rhymes. But yeah, you understand? Killing them with the flu shot. Like Jordan still won the game. He's in true form. He's killing them with the flu shot. He's sick, bro. He's sick because he's sick, dog. Still doing the most. That's part 1. I'll catch y'all on part 2.